Ms.
Oh,
Davis,
sure.
and
Okay,
then we'll,
perfect.
they'll follow the questions.
Okay, just really grateful and just super excited to be here. Opportunity to come back home and coach a program that is just a traditionally rich and program led by, again, Coach Joy Lee and Coach Kay James. So just a tremendous honor for me to be here and just ready to get started and get to work really.
Coach, you mentioned, you're back home. You coach obviously high school. You coach at Jones. Why return back to Iceberg? What was the decision behind it?
I think there's nothing like having an opportunity to do something special in front of people that you love and care about. And this community is really important to me. The Pine Belt, the entire Pine Belt community. I've had an opportunity to coach in this area a long time. And I think there's a great opportunity to be successful here. I think the leadership of Dr. Paul and Jeremy McLean gives you an opportunity to win and win championships. And I don't want to just be home. I want to have a chance to win at a high level. And having an opportunity to do that, though, in front of friends and family is something not many people have an opportunity to do. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
You had just gotten settled in
Yeah.
Monroe. It felt like just what was the decision process behind just coming back so quickly to the Pine Belt?
Yeah, I don't think I would have left anywhere for anywhere other than Southern Miss, to be honest. Like, I really enjoyed my experience in Monroe. The community was great, and I had a lot of support there. But, this is an opportunity that's extremely unique. And first of all, again, it's a great university, and I think there's an incredible opportunity to be successful. I think our athletic program is extremely attractive to student athletes. It's easy to recruit here when you believe and love the university and when you believe in and love the town. And so, again, just a unique opportunity. And I'm not sure I would have left for anywhere else other than Southern Miss.
How valuable is it for you to kind of get that first 2 years in D1 before?
Oh, I'm going to tell you, Andrew, incredibly valuable. I kind of had a chance to work those kinks out a little bit and just learn how to, I kind of jumped into, hey, I'm a mid-major head coach, but not just a mid-major head coach. I'm in the Sun Belt. And the Sun Belt is an incredibly athletic league in women's basketball. It's a very talented league, a lot of parity in the league. And so, I learned a lot in those 2 years. And I think it's going to give me an opportunity to be a much better basketball coach moving forward, just having that experience.
What do you think was the biggest thing you had to learn when you made the jump?
Yeah, I think, just when you're leading young people and you're leading a staff, I think you've got to always make sure you have not necessarily the best players, but the right players, and having that chemistry as far as building your roster. I think the roster building is extremely important. You look at some of the teams that have been successful in the league and the way they've been able to build their roster. And, I think last year I really had an opportunity to kind of dissect our program from A to Z, baby, and see, like, how can we be better? And sometimes when you have the transfer portal, and it's kind of a new age in basketball, you just go out and you have these Power 4 transfers and you just grab the best players you can, right? And so I think for us moving forward, making sure we get the right people and the players that fit, what we're trying to do as a team the best. So that was one thing that I learned for sure, just having that experience.
What's your pitch to players you're still trying to sign to this roster? Obviously, you're bringing some players from ULM as well.
Right. I think it was an easy sell. The university sells itself. The town sells itself. And so, I think, maybe in Monroe I had to sell me a lot and our staff a lot. Where here there's so many different things I can sell. I can sell the entire athletic department, the athletic program. I can sell the tradition of the program here. It's not a rebuild. This program is in great shape, and so you don't have to, that this program is one that's respected and used to winning. And so, I think it's a situation where people want to be places where they can see themselves being successful, where they can see themselves being happy, and they can see themselves winning basketball games. And so really easy sell. I think we had 4 kids go in the portal, I guess Monday because of the coaching change, and all 4 signed with us on Monday. So it didn't take much work to get them down here for sure.
Who are all of them?
Jakayla Johnson, first team all conference. Melanie Timms, she was our second leading scorer this year. Sakaya White, I think she had, don't quote me on this for sure, Andrew, but I think she had 10 double-doubles this season for us. And then Bracayla Gray, a former Lady Eagle.
And then just kind of overall, what's kind of the status of the roster? I mean, how many players do you hope to bring in? It's kind of a weird turnover issue.
Yeah, unfortunately, a few of the kids jumped in the portal before I got hired. A few had visit sets. Like Trinity and I have had great conversation. She's on a visit right now. Going to meet with her this weekend and her family. A few of the other kids, JB. I think there's a few kids in the portal, but Whitney Hart's committed to staying. I think that's a big get for us. Whitney is a super talented freshman. She unfortunately got hurt this year, but she's going to be back, I think, better than ever. She's working super hard and looks great out there. Morgan Sieper is going to stay with us for sure. Jemiah Evans, there's a few kids that are still making decisions, but for sure those three I know are locked in. We'll know hopefully soon about Trinity and JB, but I think every kid has their path and their plan, and so we're just right now trying to make sure we find the best fit for each student athlete and make sure everybody's got a great place to play basketball next year, whether it's a Southern Miss or wherever it might be.
Is your staff finalized yet?
We are still working on our staff. There's a few domino effects. We have a few people that may be in some other jobs right now, some head coaching jobs. So just kind of waiting on the domino effect of like who they hire, and when hopefully by, I would say, mid to end next week we'll have everything finalized.
Can you share who you know for sure?
Lauren Pittman is definitely coming with me. She's coming with me. She's been with me. I think she was with me 6 years at Jones College and the 2 years at Monroe. She's a former Lady Eagle. Loves Hattiesburg, and loves the program. Lauren Gross will be coming in some capacity, support staff type capacity, a former Lady Eagle as well. So, but that's really probably all I can share right now, just because based on, hiring and whatnot, that could shake up a little. Yeah.
I never got the chance to really talk to you about it, but just you went 5-0 against USM when you coached against them.
Yeah.
Now you're wearing their colors, but was there kind of something a little special in the water when you were playing the Lady Eagles? Or?
Well, I think it was more special, just because of the respect I have for the program, and I think if you beat Southern Miss, you feel like you've accomplished something. That's not an easy win by any means. They are always extremely well prepared and well coached, and so and I think a lot of it too, honestly, Scott, is like when you have an opportunity to come home and play in front of friends and family. Certainly, it's more special when you're able to get the win in those situations and be able to maybe prove people right about you and that you can do things that maybe some think you can't.
You mentioned in the press conference Kay James, Joy McNelis, the legendary coaches here.
Yeah.
To have that logo on your chest, what does it really mean to you to hold that position?
I mean, I think, I don't look at it as pressure, as more of just an honor. I think that as someone that's grown up in this community, like I can't tell you how many Southern Miss women's basketball games I've had an opportunity to sit and watch, and camps and different things that I've been able to be part of. And so, like I said, even, Coach James and Sweet 16 and the Janice Felder days to, all of the great players that Coach Joy Lee recruited here with Pauline Love and, Angela Atterbury Jackson and, with Coach James, and you look at Brittany Deakins, and I mean, you can go through the list of just the great players that have played in this program. And so, I'm excited about connecting those alumni, and I truly mean I want the past, and the present to stay connected. There's just too rich of a history here for that not to happen.
In your, I guess, earlier days, like you were talking about watching Kay James, I
Yeah.
mean, how often did you maybe picture the idea of
Yeah.
finally leading the team courtside?
Yeah, I mean, it truly is a dream come true. I mean, you're sitting there coaching at a small high school down the road, and I mean, you watch the NCAA tournament, you watch Division I, and you come over here and you watch these games, and the love I had for the university, being an alumni here, and so you always hope that one day it was possible. You just pray that if that's God's plan for you, then the door's open, and but at the end of the day, absolutely a dream come true. And I remember the first time I walked on the court earlier this week as the head coach. It was a little surreal and a little emotional, and pretty excited, and just really thankful, and honestly just really thankful and grateful to be here.
Your husband Chip gets his old gig back at Columbia.
Yeah.
How sweet was that to see the kids' reaction there? Just for all that to fall into place when you think about everything that's happened the last few days.
I mean, honestly, that's just the power of prayer, and I mean, last week when this thing started to heat up a little, I was like, oh, this is going to be tough because my son's going to be a senior and I've already moved my family and made the move. Like, what is Chip going to do? And Coach Pogue accepted a job at Brandon, to go closer to home. And Dr. Harris from Columbia called and said, any chance you're in the mix? And I kind of played it off because I did a lot of smoke and mirrors on this one because I didn't want to affect, I've got to do a great job where I'm at and where my feet are at the time. But when we heard that, we said, oh, okay, that's answered prayers. That's answered prayers. So we'll see if, the door's open to be the head coach at Southern Miss. And if so, that'll give Chip a great opportunity to go back home. And, it's just really special. Like it is. Like the Columbia community's been awesome to us. And we've had so many great memories. I mean, you could just go around the entire area, PCS, Jones, Columbia, Peary Central, Purvis, all the different stops we've had as a family. And there's just a lot of love and respect and just, again, gratitude for just being able to be here.
How'd you tell your family when you got the offer?
They could tell it on my face. Andrew, I walked in the house and I said, oh, Jeremy's calling. And I walked outside and I walked in the house and they just, they were excited. They just started cheering. And so they could tell with the way I looked that I was just elated. And
Opening statement, we'll follow with questions.
Yeah, it's a great day to be a Golden Eagle. I'm really excited about bringing Missy back to Hattiesburg. It was a really good process for us. We had a great group of candidates. I won't say surprised, but just very pleased with the group of candidates we had. And so we had to dig in and really get in the trenches and try to make the right decision and feel very, very confident with where we ended up. And like I said, excited about her being back here in Hattiesburg and the level of support and community engagement that we're going to have kind of as a platform to start with, I think is going to be really strong. And then certainly doing all the work to help her build her program, her roster, the way she needs to, and capture that excitement.
Jeremy, Missy's fit here at Southern Miss, just the where she's from, everything. How exciting is that to bring that to this program?
Yeah, I think it is. I think I mentioned during the press conference, during my remarks, that it's probably, we're in a situation probably across the country where women's basketball is more popular than it's ever been. And I think Missy, of course, it's just one part of the equation, but I think Missy gives us an opportunity to really begin to get people engaged in the program. And not that we haven't before, because we've certainly had times where we've had great crowds and a lot of success. I think, but she's starting from a different place because of that support in the community. And certainly that's not the only piece of the puzzle. She's got to be able to go out and recruit and build a roster and win games. But I think it gives us a great starting point, and certainly our plan is to take advantage of that.
Outside of the fact that she's familiar with Hattiesburg, what were the other qualities about Missy that you liked?
I think one of the things that jumped out once we got into it was the level of relationship she was able to build with her players, whether it be at PCS, whether it be at Jones or at Monroe. I think a great example of that was when she left Jones to go to Monroe. The players that left other places who had played with her at Jones, but left places, quote unquote Power 4 places to go to Monroe and play for her again, I think spoke kind of volumes to that. And so I think she's a great relationship builder with her players and in the community. That was a big piece of the puzzle. And then I think just the level of success. I think every program she has taken over was a program that was in a spot where it needed to be, needed an infusion and needed to be jump started. And with PCS, Jones, they were all places that she took it to another level. And I think those things really stood out to me.
It was just a couple months ago you plucked another coach from the Sun Belt. You do it again here. How are you guys able to pull this off?
Yeah, I think I think it speaks volumes to Southern Miss, quite honestly. It's just like when we're recruiting students or student athletes. If people know this place or have experienced this place, I think it's just different. I think there's a uniqueness about Southern Miss, and I think that's a big part of the equation. I think when we talk to coaches about an opportunity here at Southern Miss, it's about the opportunity, but it's also about a place where they know they can be successful. And so I think for us, that was another situation where Missy knew this place really well, and she knew that this was a place where she can be successful.
Were the funds for her buyout secured?
Yes. Yeah. We took care of that, before we kind of got too far down the road. So it's something you have to do when you're making those kind of decisions. So we're in a good spot there.
How hard was this search to kind of do in the sense of, you have a coach retiring rather than, having to deal with a firing or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, this was kind of a different situation than most coaching.
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, and our focus really was on Coach McNellis and you know, making sure she finished the right way, you know, at the end of the year. And so we really didn't crank the search up, obviously, until the season was done. We were finished playing. Obviously, we did some groundwork and began to brainstorm a little bit once Joy announced her retirement. But it was a little bit different in that regard because our focus really was on her and making sure that we made it, you know, through a difficult year with the team and certainly wanted to respect Joy in that regard. And then we were able to kind of shift gears and move into search mode, if you will. Moving as quickly as we could. Certainly you've got, you know, these days you have different parameters. You think about the transfer portal and all the things, you know, you have to kind of work around. And so we knew what our window was and worked as quickly as we could to get to a good place and you know, excited to be able to be here today and talk about that.
When did you feel like Missy was the choice?
You know, I think, as you normally do, we talked to a lot of people early on. We had a really strong group, as I've mentioned. And so I knew Missy from her connections here, from her success. She was somebody that was on my radar. But I think when we sat down to interview her and we started talking, and it was 3.5 hours later, and you know, nobody really realized it had been 3.5 hours. That's when you kind of know that it's the right connection and the right fit. And so once we sat down with her face to face and had a chance to hash a lot of things out, I felt really good about her candidacy.
You know, obviously Missy won a lot of Jones, and you know, it's pretty far down the road. But just the fact that she was able to win at ULM and you get her with that D1 experience, how huge is that for this program?
Yeah, I think she would tell you this. I think if you ask her that question, I think she would tell you that she's a different coach today than she was 2 years ago because of that experience. I think it's a big transition to go from junior college to the Division I level, but her having the opportunity to be in Monroe for a couple of years and begin to kind of address the things you kind of don't know what you don't know until you're in that seat. And so I think for her, she's in a much better spot, different spot than she was a couple of years ago coming out of Jones. And so I think the timing here really lined up well for everyone. And you know, I think she's better today for that experience.
Anything else?